Rachel, always anxious for your report every year, and this one was particularly bleak, with women dropping out of the workforce even more. Sheryl Sandberg said if we had a panic button, we'd be hitting it right now. What should we be panicking about?
Yeah, we know women are struggling right now to balance work with everything else during COVID-19. But with this study, we understand the numbers, the scale of the problem. 1 in 4 women are thinking about downshifting their career or leaving the workforce. That's millions of women. So as Sheryl said, we should be hitting that panic button. If we lose those women, we will unwind all the progress we've seen in the representation of women in management since the beginning of this study and then some.
Meantime, we also got the last jobs report we're going to get before the election, which shows that the economic recovery could be fading, and we're starting to see the scars from the pandemic. How does that intersect with what you're finding out about women, what you're finding out about people of color and how they're faring in the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, we know that women are more likely to be furloughed and laid off. And then on top of this, the research shows women are more likely to feel forced out of the workplace. And 3 groups of women really show up in high relief as struggling: mothers, senior level women, and Black women. So mothers, we know that mothers are doing more at home than ever before, but on top of that, they're concerned their performance is being judged negatively because of their caregiving responsibilities, and they're right to be concerned. We know that we tend to think mothers are less committed and less productive. It's called the Motherhood Penalty, and it's in high relief right now. We know senior level women are facing the same pressures as senior level men, and then some. They feel like they need to be working harder, they're more likely to be burnt out, and they're more likely to be leaving the workforce. And then there's Black women. Black women already have a worse experience in the workplace. On top of that, they're disproportionately affected by COVID-19. And now they're coping with the emotional toll of all this racist violence in this country. And they're going to work day over day, and they are less supported. Just 1 in 3 Black women say a manager's checked in with them in light of recent events. And Black women are far less likely than other women to have allies. We need to do better by Black women.
So speaking of that, we've got the vice presidential debate coming up later this week. Senator Kamala Harris, there's never been a female vice president of this country, let alone a Black woman. After this election, there still might not be. So regardless of politics, what is at stake here?
Listen, both of those candidates are going to need to show up, and they're going to need to forcefully defend their opinions, their policy stance. They're going to need to be confident like we'd expect from any presidential candidate. The challenge is, as a woman, and particularly a woman of color, Senator Harris needs to be concerned about not looking too confident, not showing up as too assertive, people not falling into the trope of an angry Black woman as she debates. Vice President Pence, as a man, he is not going to face any of those complexities. We expect men to be bold, confident, promote their accomplishments. We expect them to lead, and so we celebrate them when they do. It's more challenging for Senator Harris.
Now, as the pandemic continues, and Rachel, we've got about 30 seconds left, how much does schools reopening, how much does that matter for women in particular?
It matters hugely, right? Like, women are being impacted by kids at home, school closures, things outside of their control. And that's why companies really need to show up right now for women and get creative. No one can be living up to business as usual standards right now, particularly women, and particularly the 3 groups of women we talked about.